Alright, what's up fight fans? You're watching Octagon Control MMA. I'm Dan. Today we're going to be talking about Conor Mcgregor versus Dustin Poirier, coming up on the 27th of January, I think, sorry. Can't remember the date right now, but UFC 257 either way. Main event, possibly for the lightweight title. I would not be surprised to see an interim lightweight title on it, but we'll see what happens there. But either way, very exciting fight. Rematch of UFC 178 where we fought. Conor McGregor won that one by first round knockout about 90 seconds in, I believe. Very entertaining fight. Both fighters at a much different stage of their career now. So I don't think that's massively relevant anymore, but obviously that will be a talking point going into this one. I'm going to start off talking about Conor McGregor, then Poirier, then we'll do a side by side, what each of them needs to do to win, and then my pick. Alright, first of all, Conor McGregor, most famous name in the sport, obviously, highest pay-per-view seller. Most recently fought Cowboy at the start of last year. I think it'll be just about a year since he last fought when he gets in the cage with Dustin. Very quick match, 40 seconds, dominant performance. Cowboy got nothing in there. Conor did very well, and it was good to see him back in action. Didn't see as much of him as we might have liked this year, but that seems to be the way it's just gone with the COVID. And yeah, it was a great performance, but not long enough to really see him face any adversity, which I do believe he will more likely face against Poirier. Before that, it was Khabib at UFC 229. Terrible on numbers today, it may have been 228. We all remember that one. It was, I believe, the highest selling UFC pay-per-view of all time. He, lost that one, fourth round submission. Did have some success on the feet. Much better than I think a lot of people expected. Took Khabib to the fourth round. It's worth mentioning that Dustin only took him to the third round. And I'd say against Khabib, Conor probably looked better than Dustin. But obviously it was the aftermath of that, with Khabib jumping the fence, going for Dylan Dennis, and all the nastiness that took place after that. So, yeah. Who's next? Eddie Alvarez. We're going well back to 2016. This is when Conor won the lightweight title, UFC 205. He took 2017 off for the Floyd Mayweather boxing match. But I think with Alvarez, it was a case of Alvarez getting a bit overwhelmed. Conor won this one by a third round knockout, a second round knockout. Sorry, I really can't remember. And but again, this was the height of Conor mania. He was named on everyone's lips. I think it was about this time that a lot of people who were new to the sport were getting into it directly because of Conor. And I think the sport wouldn't be in the place it is today without Conor McGregor. So I think he has done a lot for the sport, whether you like him or not. Alright, we'll talk about Dustin Poirier a bit next. Most recently fought Dan Hooker back in May of this year. Five round decision win for him there, but fight of the year contender. Round two in that fight, definitely round of the year. Both of them very high level striking. Poirier did try and shoot quite a few takedowns with this one, which is my main takeaway from this. Hooker defended very well. I think Conor McGregor's takedown defence is probably just as good as Dan Hooker's, if not a bit better. So I think from what we've seen so far, Dustin will struggle to take him down if that's the route he chooses to go down. But I think it's more likely that this will be a stand and bang sort of fight. Okay, before that, it was Khabib, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, in September of 2019, UFC 242. Yeah, he didn't look great in this fight. He had a little bit of success at the start of the second round, landed some good punches. He's got a habit to try and run people down though. He'll throw punches and chase people as they retreat, and I think that does leave him very susceptible to a counter. Did the same thing against Dan Hooker, same thing against Max Holloway. He's done a few similar things in his other fights as well. But I think against someone like Conor McGregor, who's great with the counters, especially that big overhand left, I think he's very susceptible to get caught, especially with them both being southpaws. I think he's going to need to temper himself a bit and be a bit more patient. Right, as I briefly mentioned, UFC 235 won the interim lightweight title against Max Holloway. Went all the way to a 5 round decision. This one, not well. It was an exciting fight, but it was there's not much to gain from it. It was a great stand and bang battle. Both of them very good chins on them. Both throwing a lot of heavy shots. Both landing a lot of shots. It was just, yeah, it was a good fight all around, but there's not a lot of technical data that I think you can extrapolate from that one in any meaningful way. Alright, we'll do a side by side now. First off, we'll talk about striking, grappling, chin, gas tank, and then the excitement factor each they bring. Right, so first of all, we'll give the striking to Conor McGregor, purely because of his finish rate. I believe he's got 19 knockouts in his 22 wins. I think 1 submission, 2 decisions. Yeah, great striker, very heavy hands. Said a little bit earlier about a big overhand left. Definitely his most dangerous punch, but his kicks aren't to be forgotten about either. And yeah, Dustin, though, much more focused on the hands, doesn't throw a massive amount of kicks, so I expect him to focus mainly on the hands. Dustin does have a slightly smaller reach than Conor at 72 inch, believe Conor's 74 inch, so I can't see 2 inch of reach making a huge difference. So both the same height, so yeah, I'd be surprised if that played into it too much. Right, grappling, gonna give this to Poirier purely because he tries it a lot more. Conor's tends to stay on the feet. I'm not saying Conor's a bad grappler. He showed some decent enough takedown defence against Khabib. Didn't do too bad on the ground. I mean, it took Khabib 4 rounds to get a submission in. But Poirier, he's got an arm triangle over Anthony Pettis. Probably his most impressive submission win. But yeah, Poirier's got the edge in the grappling, I think. Right, now for the chin. Very close on this one because I've seen them both eat a lot of big shots, but I'm going Conor McGregor in this one purely because he's never been knocked out. His 4 losses on his record are all submissions, and I think that's probably Poirier's best chance early on in the fight if that's what he wants to do. He's been jumping a lot of guillotines recently, and I think he wouldn't go amiss to try that on Conor either. But again, Poirier's eating a lot of big shots. He's been 5 rounds with Max Holloway and Dan Hooker in the last 12-15 months, so expect to see a lot of big hits, and I wouldn't expect either of them to go down easily. Alright, gas tank, got to go to Poirier on this one purely because of the 5 round experience he's got. Conor against Khabib went to the 4th round. I believe that, oh sorry, it's not. Conor did win a 5 round decision against Nate Diaz back in 2016, but he's not had the same recent experience of going 5 rounds like Poirier has. I'd say 5 rounds with Holloway, 5 rounds with Hooker. Very active fights. Doesn't seem to fade too much towards the later rounds. So I'd definitely give him the edge there. Alright, excitement. Conor McGregor all the way for this one. Not necessarily for the fighting style so much as what he brings to the whole UFC experience. Very entertaining, in and out of the cage, hypes up the fight. Like I say, I'd expect this pay-per-view to top 1.5 million. It's a pay-per-view in the UK as well, so that'll add a few numbers. But yeah, Conor's definitely the biggest star in the UFC, and I think his star power really drives events forward. Poirier is very popular himself, but the average person on the streets heard of Conor McGregor. I think you have to at least be somewhat knowledgeable at UFC to have heard of Dustin Poirier. He's not necessarily a household name in the way that McGregor is. Alright, what each of them needs to do to win. Okay, first off, Conor McGregor. I think his best chance of winning is in the 1st round, maybe the 2nd round. Probably a 1-punch knockdown, and then ground and pound follow-up. I think that's his best opportunity. I think he's more likely of the two to fade as the fight progresses. I think Poirier definitely has the advantage if he gets into the 3rd, 4th, even the 5th round. It becomes a massive problem for Conor. So Poirier, early on, play it safe, don't get carried away. stay on the outside, don't rush into anything stupid as he did in the last fight. Like I say, 6 years ago, he's grown up a lot since then. But yeah, Poirier's, like I said, as the fight goes on, Poirier will come into his own, he'll find his range. I'm still a bit concerned that he'll land something heavy, then try and chase Conor down and get caught with counter, but that's yet to be seen. Right, finally for my pick for this fight, I'm going Conor McGregor all the way, second round knockout. Dustin's a very good fighter. I just think with how Conor's looking, what people are hearing from his training camp, I think he stands a very good chance at winning this one, and I would not be surprised at all to see that result. Alright, that's going to round us up for today. I appreciate it's been a while since I've got a video out. I did try and do this video before, but it got taken down due to copyright, which is my fault. I got a bit carried away with the clips I added. So that's that. Hope everyone has a great day. You're watching Not to Good Control MMA, and I will see you later.